It is well known that geraniums can survive the winter and bloom abundantly in the following season. Sometimes they can survive on a terrace during this season, but if the winter is harsh, it is best to keep them indoors. Plants grow a bit stunted while inside. The shoots look elongated. The plants should be cleaned of dry parts. Pruning is crucial if you want a lush plant with many flowers in the coming season. Pruning can be done at 2 times, late autumn or late winter. Ideally, it would be in February or March. This wakes the plant from its winter dormancy and encourages new, dense growth in the spring. Before you start pruning, disinfect your shears with alcohol to avoid spreading disease. Feel free to be bold and sharp with the scissors. Prune the geranium well. Cut off dry parts, yellowed leaves, and withered flowers. Shorten the stem so that 1/3 or 1/2 of the original height remains. Find a node or joint. The cut is made above the node. New branches will sprout from that spot. What shall we do with the cut parts? Don't throw them away. Healthy cut stems about 10 centimeters long are perfect cuttings. Remove the lower leaves from them. Dip the cut on the stem into a mixture of honey and cinnamon, and then stick it into a moist substrate. By summer, you will have new plants. But if you want the geranium cuttings to root faster, try the following rooting technique. We cut the cuttings to about 10 centimeters, and the cut should be below the node. That is where the highest concentration of growth hormone is. I use bags for rooting. Bags can be filled with loose potting soil, preferably with the addition of perlite. Perlite is a natural volcanic mineral. Through thermal processing, it turns into spongy granules. It improves soil structure. It is used in gardening for drainage, aeration, and moisture retention. This prevents soil compaction and root rot. Also, bags can be filled with plain water. It is known that some plants root easily in water. Rooting in water is excellent because you can accurately track the progress of your botanical project. A tiny bit of an activated charcoal tablet can be added to the water. It will disinfect the water and prevent the growth of bacteria. And before you dip the cutting into the soil or water, leave it on the table for a few hours so the cut on the stem can dry. A thin membrane, callus, will form at that spot. This process prevents rotting. Place the cuttings in the bags and secure them with ties. No leaf of the cutting should touch the water. Otherwise, the leaf will rot and contaminate the water with bacteria. Leave the bags in a bright place near a window, but not in direct sunlight. In 3 to 4 weeks, the cutting could be rooted. You don't have to wait for the root to be large before transplanting the new seedling. The soil for transplanting should be loose, not garden soil. The ideal soil mixture is 60% high-quality peat, 20% perlite, and 20% compost or worm castings. When transplanting, be careful because water-grown roots are brittle and break easily. Before you see how to feed your geranium, we remind you to share the video with your friends. Your comments are welcome. When the new plant develops, then it's time for feeding. Feeding is very important for geraniums because it is the fuel for blooming. Initially, a nitrogen fertilizer can be used to form the plant's green mass. Later, you switch to fertilizers with phosphorus and potassium, which allow for an explosion of blooms. Specialized liquid fertilizers for geraniums often have a picture on the packaging. Of course, there are also homemade preparations. Many gardeners and florists use an iodine solution. 1 drop of iodine goes into 1 liter of water. Water the soil, not the leaves. It gives a more intense color to the flowers. Yeast fertilizer is also often used in floriculture. It is also suitable for geraniums. Mix 10 grams of yeast with a teaspoon of sugar and 1 liter of water. Let it sit for a few hours. Yeast intensifies the development of flowers. Geraniums are watered once a month with yeast fertilizer, especially during the blooming season. Coffee grounds are a well-known natural fertilizer for plants. Geraniums love slightly acidic soil, so they can be fertilized with coffee grounds. When you cook vegetables, you are left with the cooking water. Let it cool down, and then feel free to water the geraniums with it. This will be a great mineral supplement. Watch out for the 2 most common mistakes. The first one is overwatering. Geraniums actually tolerate drought much better than excess moisture. If the roots are constantly sitting in water, they will rot and the plant will eventually die. That's why you should always choose pots with proper drainage, meaning holes at the bottom, so that any excess water can flow out freely. The second mistake is a lack of light. If you notice that the stems are thin and pale, and there is a large gap between the leaves, it's a sign that the plant is stretching in search of light. Your plant is desperately craving more sun. Move it to the brightest spot you have, ideally facing south or east, because without direct sunlight, you won't get those magnificent blooms we all love so much.